Yo, what is up, guys? We are on the Season 8 servers. Yet again, we have been blessed by the almighty Guang, the savior of all. He has given me premium early access to the servers, of course. And we have the latest character here, Devil Dinosaur. He is a vanguard. Look at him, he's so cute. A cute little thing. Well, little is maybe not the right word, but he's really cute. He's a tank. Anyway, he's got a lot of health. Yeah, little was really wrong because if we look at this character, that's the skin, by the way, looks really cool. Here, I just spawn a Thoris comparison. If you look at this character, he is goddamn huge. I mean, oh my god, his head is like, I swear his head is like the whole Thor. It's insane. This is definitely the biggest character they've released, and he's a freaking dinosaur, bro. He's a T-Rex. That's cool as hell. You guys might be wondering, what does Devil Dinosaur do? And I'm here to show you guys that. And I'll show you the F1 page real quick, and then we'll get into what each and every single ability does. We got his M1 first. You bite people, and then it applies this little dot on them, which makes them bleed. Now, this dot does scale with percentage health, so it will do a lot more damage to something like, you know, Groot. It's about like, how much damage is that? Oh wow, that's actually over, it's like 150 damage. See, compared to something like, I don't know, like a 250 health hero. See, still respectable, but that's like 100 and something. So yeah, see, significantly more damage to tanks, especially if you keep biting them. So like every single ability can apply bleed, pretty much, like almost every single one, I'm pretty sure. His right click is like he breathes fire. That's like a, yeah, there we go. And it's on a resource. As you can see on the right side, the resource bar is refilling. It has a pretty short cooldown, and also it doesn't have any recast timer, so I can like breathe fire for a second and then do it again and then do it again. And this will actually be really important for a reason that I'll actually talk about it right now. And it's his like passive. Yeah, so it's Apex Advantage at the bottom. It says whenever you inflict bleeding and deal damage, you gain bonus health. It's really nice because every single ability applies bleeding, so you actually want your bleed up on as many enemies as possible, so you regenerate the most amount of bonus health possible, if that makes sense. It's not as simple as just tagging them with the right click, because as you can see, you kind of have to like, if I only tap it, it'll expire extremely quickly, but if I hold it on someone for a second, it will last a little bit longer. The point of the character, I think, is to like have this pass. He's kind of like a brawl character, I suppose. The point is to have like this passive running on as many people as possible, so like it gives you a lot of health. Oh, and then another thing that's really cool about him, so I showed you guys his primary, it's like a little bite, but his quick melee is actually on a separate attack timer from his bite, and he could just freely do this like tail swipe independently of the bite. So you could do the bite and the tail swipe at the same time, which means, I guess, if you're trying to get maximum damage, technically the way you should play him is like you bite and then you tail swipe, you bite, tail swipe, bite. That's a lot of 180s, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of disorienting to do that. But it is a DPS increase because, well, they're on a separate cooldown. So yeah, you can just do them at the same time, right? So I can just do. It's so silly, but I kind of love it. It's very unique. Now, let's get into the rest of his abilities. So he's like a dash ability where he dashes for a second, then he jumps. So if your target isn't bleeding already, if you haven't put anything on them, it will just do damage to them and apply a bleed. But if they are already bleeding, so if you set it up with something like, I don't know, like a right click, and then you dive on them, you're actually going to grab them in your mouth and you can carry them back to your team, which is really interesting. Super cool for like displacement and stuff. And then his E is just a shield. It follows him, which is really nice. It'll also slow enemies inside. Yeah, blocks incoming damage and enemies caught within are slowed. So there's also a slow. And then his F ability is this like chain of bites. It's like a, let's see. Yes, 4 bites followed by a big bite, right? And it has an 8-second cooldown, as you can see there. And now that seems like it's not a lot of damage, and you'd be right, it isn't a lot of damage. But if we apply a bleed for a second, and then we do it, as you can see, it does a lot more damage. You always want to have a bleed up before you're doing this ability. You can basically almost, I'm pretty sure, like, one-shot a 250 health hero, so if I just left-click and then press his F ability, yeah, it's a one-shot. Well, you know, it's a quick kill, I suppose. I know people hate the term one-shot, so I'm trying to avoid it, but yeah, people get triggered. Anyway, and then his ultimate ability, he roars, and then he gets bonus health. And then every step he takes applies bleed to people around him, and also knocks them up. Now, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but the utility is the fact that it bleeds. And another really important thing it does, like, you might look at this ultimate and be like, wow, that's kind of garbage. But one thing you guys are not considering is that it reduces the cooldown of all of his other abilities. or at least the damaging ones. I actually haven't tested the shield. I suppose I'll test that now. So as you can see, normally when I do this dash, it's a 10-second cooldown. When I do this like little bite combo, it's an 8-second cooldown. But if I pop my ult, not only will it reset it, but it will also make it a 4-second and 1-second cooldown. So you're able to use this bite all the time. Yeah, okay, the bubble doesn't benefit from it, but all of his like offensive cooldowns do, which means he's like a real threat when this is up. It's like a lot of damage, and not to mention obviously like he's applying bleeding in an AoE, which synergizes really well with his passive, which means he's getting a lot of like he's putting bleeds on everybody, so he's getting a lot of health. And then he's also, you know, using this. He's doing damage, which gives him health. He's just going to be really tanky with his ult and do a lot of damage. So his ult is actually really great. Also, one thing I got to show, his other two passives is he does, some people worried because this is a huge hitbox, right? But don't be worried. He does actually have the basically Thinks passive where he cannot be displaced. He also cannot be, you know, for example, like shit like uppercut, you know, Spiderman's pull. Everything like that just doesn't work. His passive, he has another passive. It says enemies and allies generate less ultimate ability energy when damaging or healing him. So he won't be feeding as much ult charge. Now, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but yeah, he won't be feeding as much ult charge as other characters when you're healing or damaging him. Oh, yeah, and then the team up is really silly. So if I go Punisher for a second, I'll show you. You can actually ride on Devil Dino. And this is kind of insane because if you grab somebody in their mouth, the Punisher can just like, you know, have his shotgun out and just essentially like one-shot them. It's kind of silly. Obviously, this Dino is not going to move, but you see, like, if he charged him and I have my shotgun out, it's like, that's a lot of damage. And also another thing I can't show, Punisher takes way less damage. While it's definitely not like the Rocket team up where you're really vulnerable. Punisher takes like genuinely, like I think I was hitting him with Daredevil or something, and Daredevil normally does like 30-40 per hit, and the Punisher was taking like 10 damage. So it's like a significant damage reduction to the Punisher, but it is split. It's not like that damage is not going anywhere. It is split between both Dino and Punisher. So that's really nice because obviously Dino has more health. So yeah, it's pretty good for the Punisher riding him. But yeah, I think that team up it could be pretty good. It looks definitely it's like more of like a sillier team up, I suppose. But yeah, guys, that's Devil Dino. As for how he's gonna play, it's kind of hard to stay with this character. Like, is he gonna want to go backline? I think it's kind of scary because you could just get blown up, and also he has a way to go in, but not really a way to leave. And you have a lot of downtimes, like 10 seconds. Like, can you live in a backline for 10 seconds? I would say probably not without your ultimate. So if you're engaging with the jump, you're probably going to get cooked. So I think maybe the safest way to play him is like, you know, sort of like brawling the front line, but it's also dangerous because you can get blown up in the front line. Your gameplay loop will probably be trying to like grab a tank and then just like, because also this character does so much. He kind of like, from what I'm seeing, I feel like maybe he's gonna be like Tank Wolverine, sort of like a bit more brawly than Angela, but kind of like the same concept where like you're gonna grab a tank and then just like try to carry them away, or somebody in the front line overextending, you know what I mean? And then, you know, you'll use your like insane close range damage to try to finish them off after grabbing them. And then every time you have your ult, that's your moment to go really aggressive. Whenever you have your ultimate, you can just you know, since like it resets your dash, you could like, you know, jump in the back line, pop your ult, and then just spam this like F ability that just does a lot of damage. And then if you feel like you're taking damage, you can just leave. And then, you know, since it's a 4-second cooldown, you can just re-engage again. And it's just like he feels really strong in his ultimate. But outside of it, he's gonna have a rough time, especially against poke comps. I think he's gonna do really well in Brawl. This might be the best Brawl character in the game. But right now, the meta seems to be more like dive and poke and not really Brawl. But whenever Brawl comes around, I mean, he might even enable, like, I could see this character genuinely being super strong in something like 3 tanks. Like, can you imagine having, like, I don't know, like Thing, Hulk, and then this hero, and you're all just like brawling? Like, that you'll probably be like given so much ult charge to your supports. This character being in the game, like, I thought it was gonna be worse than Groot, but thankfully he was given this passive, because he is worse than Groot in the sense that, like, he is going to be a CC victim. Like, imagine trying to dodge something with this hitbox. I mean, you're getting absolutely slammed by every single CC ability in the game. Like you're getting, there's no way Luna's gonna Mr. Freeze or like Mantis Sleep or you know, like all of these CCs are just gonna absolutely cook him. You know what I mean? It's gonna be really rough for him to survive against CC, but he does have that bubble, and I think using this bubble is going to be absolutely critical to playing him. Is like he does have like some outplay potential despite his massive hitbox, but once that bubble is down, he's really vulnerable to CC. So we're gonna have to see. I'm not sure. I think my prediction, the way people are gonna play this character, at least in the beginning, is they're probably gonna try to just like snatch up tanks and then carry them to their team and then pick them off that way. Because this displacement is pretty strong. You can carry them like around pretty much. Like it is a little bit predictable. I think it's gonna be really effective in the beginning because people won't know what this character does. So you can probably just win games off of selecting this hero, beaming the front line for a second, grabbing them, and then taking them out of position away from their healers. And then what you could also do, I suppose, once you grab them, right, you can take them out, you can also bubble to cut off any healing that they might get. So I could see that being really effective, really effective way to play it. But you know, the caveat is that like people don't know it right now, but obviously when people know what he does and they're anticipating that you're going for this dive, there's like things they can do. Like for example, when you grab somebody, you can again get like hit by any CC in the game, and since you're really big, it'll be very hard to dodge it. So you might actually end up having to pop that bubble a little bit earlier to block that CC. You know what I mean? But I think he's an interesting character. I think he's really fun, really simple. This is probably like, I mean, compared to Black Cat, who had like, you know, like 3 pages of abilities that are really long, and then an ultimate that's like, you know, crazy. This character is definitely way more on the simpler side. He is 3-star difficulty. That's what it says. I think he's a really fun character, really simple. Probably like one of the easier tanks to play in the game, like mechanically at least. But figuring out how to play him and not die is going to be, I think, challenging. But honestly, I could see him being very strong in low elo, because people in low elo tend to have problems against melee heroes. Like melee heroes especially seem to like dominate super hard in those elos. So this character can just like, you can kind of like just stat check anybody by just running at them and just, you know, M1ing, because you don't need to aim and you do a lot of damage, especially to tanks. And then dealing damage also gives you HP. You know, you have this ability, you don't need to really aim it. It does a lot of damage if I could actually press my buttons properly. You know, like here's just like one combo on a tank. I mean, I say combo, but this guy doesn't even have a combo. You're just pretty much doing like bite into like the chain bite into like just bite again. You know, like you're just kind of holding down M1. It's really not all too complicated. And then like you're beaming them for a second, and then it's just a very simple character, like super easy to play. This might be, I don't even know how he's 3-star difficulty. Maybe it's because of his massive hitbox, but I feel like he's just so simple. Like there's no like crazy nuance. I think the most nuanced ability that he has is probably this grab. And one thing I found with the grabs, a little tip for you guys who made it here to the end of the video, I think we'll be ending soon, is you could start your dash and then use your right click, which is like the beam, right? Sorry, I have console players. It's like you use your dash ability and then you beam for a second, and that'll allow you to like cancel your jump, and you can cancel it into a B hop, which is kind of, I think that's nice. That's like the most nuance I think that this character has. Other than that, he's like really simple, pretty fun character. You know, you don't have to have a character that's super complicated for them to be fun to play. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. So yeah, that's Devil Dino, guys. Pretty fun character, really exciting. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think about Devil Dino, and yeah, go have fun with him. See you guys. Peace.